Hello students, today we are going to discuss the chapter All Summer in a Day by Ray Bradbury, that is lesson 5 from the Blossoms. This is for class 9. Now, Ray Douglas Bradbury, he was an American fiction writer. He was born in 1920 and he lived till 2012. And he was a writer of science fiction, fantasy, horror, and mystery stories. In this particular story, this is a excerpt from his science fiction, which deals with the theme of man exploring their abilities and trying to reach out to Venus, where they set up a civilization. And here we have small school children who are experiencing life on Venus. They are born there, and we come to know it is a place where it rains incessantly. Now, this is deviating from the real life because it is highly imaginative. Life on Venus, for the time being, it is impossible, but it is exploring the possibilities and how it is said that people there living, they experience 7 years of rainfall. Now, Venus, we know that it is a hot planet with atmosphere consisting of carbon dioxide, clouds of sulfuric acid, and trace amounts of water. But here in this chapter, we will see how it rains incessantly. Now, can we imagine a life where it is raining continuously more than more than some days? Like if it rains incessantly, then we will be tired of it. We'll be fed up of such situations. Either it is winter or summer or rainy seasons. If it stretches too much, then it becomes unbearable. Right now we understand it very well because we are under lockdown and we know that we are getting fed up of it, and if it continues for more than what we are bearing now, it will be very difficult for us. So for the time being, I think we have to concentrate in our studies and try to make best use of this particular lockdown. So, see, Venus is a hot planet, but here we have deviated from the reality, and we will see how the children there, they are pining for the sunshine because it is a place now in the story where it rains for 7 years continuously, and the children here, they experienced sunshine. That was when they were 2 years old. So after that, it has been 7 years, and now they are 9 years old, and now they are going to experience it for the second time. But the first experience was at a time when they were very small, so they don't remember that experience. So they are learning in their classroom how the sun is like. They are busy with their essays and writing poetry about what the sun looks like, and we see that they are very eager to know the experience. So let us straight away get into the chapter. Before that, one more thing I will tell. This also represents the human urge to for better life, and it is man's urge to explore life beyond this earth. Man is in constant pursuit for better life, and this story is the best example how man has tried to stretch the limit, and he is trying to give a picture to its to his dream by exploring another planet, trying to set up a civilization there. So, we will get into the text now. It had been raining for 7 years. Thousands upon thousands of days filled from one end to the other with rain. Now, for this past 7 years, there were thousands of days. All the days were filled with rainfall. Now, this rainfall is described as torrential rain, continuous rain. Sometimes it is like the concussions of storm. It is so heavy that it sounds like drum beats on our eardrums, and it is sometimes it falls down like crystals from the sky. So the sound imagery is given here, very vividly how the days are filled with the sounds of the rain continuously. Thousands upon thousands of days filled from one end to other with rain. The days were filled with the gush of water and endless showers. Now heavy storms caused tidal waves to come over the islands. Thousand forests crushed under the rain had grown up 1,000 times to be crushed again. This was the way of life forever on planet Venus. So here we see that the life that is described here, it is not a very happy life. Like man has aspired for a better life. So they want to explore something better and they are trying to stretch their limits and they are trying to reach out to another planet. Now, did they succeed in finding a better place? So we see here that the place is not very comfortable one, but they are trying to set up a civilization in that place, trying to adjust to that particular climatic conditions, whatever problems are there, they are ready to face that, so that they will build up a new civilization there. Now the children born there, they are accustomed to that atmosphere. They do not know the difference how it is, how life is on earth. They have never experienced, so they don't know the difference. So they are more or less adjusted to that. But people who have migrated from there, like the scientists who have gone there, they are rocket men and women who have gone there by the rockets. They have reached the Venus here. It's a science fiction and it tells about the rocket civilization where people are constantly striving for scientific pursuits. So uh, we have here a civilization that is constantly trying to face the odds in Venus, and they have set up a civilization in this raining world where it is constantly raining. Ready, ready, now, soon. Now these are the dialogues of the children there. They are ready. They are asking whether you are ready for seeing the sun that will come out anytime. Will it happen today? Will it? Look, look, see for yourself. So the children in the classroom, they chattered and pressed to each other like so many roses. Now this is a simile where the children are compared to roses here. So when there is a comparison that is done with the help of like or as, that is a simile. And if it is direct, then it is if the comparison is direct, then it is a metaphor. So the children in the school, they chattered. Chattered means they talked continuously and pressed to each other like so many roses. They peered out of the window to look at the hidden sun. It rained, but it was raining still, and they have to wait a little more to see the sunshine. It's stopping, it's stopping. The children are all 9 years old. Like I told you already, they are 9 years old now, and they saw the sun last time when they were too young. That is when they were just 2 years old. Now, when the sun really came out that time, it stunned the world. Stunned means surprised. All day yesterday they had read in class about the sun. They learnt how like a lemon it was and how hot. So this is a simile, like a lemon. Sun is compared again with the help of like, so it is a simile. They had written small stories, essays or poems about it. I think the sun is a flower that blooms for just an hour. Somebody said that. So if here we see that it is a direct comparison, that the sun is a flower. So it is a metaphor. That was yesterday. Today at this moment the rain was slackening. The children gathered at the great thick windows. Now here they have noticed that for the first time in 7 years the rain seems to be slackening. Slackening means it's slowing down. It was torrential. The rain was very torrential. It was very rapid, and the concussions of the storms was very heavy. And the sound also, it sounded like drum beats when the crystals sometimes fell on the rooftops. So the sound was great. The sound of the storm, it was continuous. Now this was slackening now. The children were eager to see the sun. They had been on Venus all their lives. Now these children, they had not experienced life outside Venus. So for them this is something which is very usual, and the sun coming out is unusual now, because in last 7 years they have not experienced, and they were only 2 years old, so they don't remember. They played in the echoing tunnels of the underground city and sang of summer and the sun. This is how they have spent their lives so far. They used to sing about summer. They dreamt about summer. They heard about summer, but they have forgotten the experience. So their lives in the echoing tunnels went on and on for days and days together, until this day has come when it is time for the sun to appear again. The rain stopped. It was as if a hurricane had lost its sounds. Now we will see an oral imagery again, because oral imagery, it is the description of the sound. The imagery is described through the sound effects. So here we have the description. Please follow carefully. There were no motions or tremor, but peace. The world grounded to a standstill. The silence was so immense one would feel as if their ears had been stuffed. So here also one simile. Silence is compared to stuffed ears. Stuffed ears means when you close your ears, you cannot hear anything. So the silence, it was like as if their ears were stuffed, because so long continuous noise was there. Suddenly when the rain stopped, it appeared as if they have become deaf. The children put their hands to their ears. They stood apart. The door slid back. The smell of silent waiting world came to them. The sun came out. Now finally the sun was out and they could come out of their tunnel. Now once they come out of their tunnel, what is the description now? It is the description of the smell. The senses are working, so they can smell the different smell now. When they are outside, the outside world has a different smell, and they can feel it now that there is a forest now before them. Now this forest also, it's different from the forest that we have in our lives on earth, because here we have the process of photosynthesis for plants. So the plants are green in color. Now look at the plants there in Venice that the writer has written. So it is certainly not green in color. So according to his imagination, he has given the description. Let us see. It was what was the color of the sun now? It was the color of flaming bronze, and it was very large. So their imagination, according to the imagination of the child, they had thought that that the sun would be like the lemon. But when they are experiencing now, in reality, they are seeing it is like flaming bronze, and it is very, very large. The sky around it was blazing blue, and it was a beautiful sight. The jungle burned with sunlight. The children, released from their spell, rushed out yelling into the summertime. The children were now very, very excited. They were very happy to see the sunshine, the brightness. They were surprised. So they were saying, oh, it's much better than lamplights. So long the only light they had experienced is the lamplight burning inside their tunnels. So they say they realize that the color of the sunshine is much better than the lamplights. They stopped running and stood in the great jungle that covered Venice. Now the color of the jungle. Now the jungle the jungle had spent years without the sun. It was the color of rubber, ash, and ink. So as I told you, no photosynthesis, so no green plants. They were all ink color, ash color, and rubber like. So the children lay out laughing at the jungle mattress. They ran among the trees. They slipped and fell. Now their teacher shouted that, remember, you have to come back soon. Don't forget that it's only for 1 hour. But who is there to listen now? They are all running after the sunshine. So the teacher tried to warn them, but the children, they now ran among the trees. They slipped and fell because it was very slippery. The ground was very, very slippery due to the incessant rain, continuous rain. They pushed each other and played hide and seek. The children, they enjoyed a lot now. Most of all, they squinted at the sun. They wanted to look at the sun. So they cannot look at the sun. The brightness is too much for them. So they were squinting. Squinting means half closing the eyes like this. So they were squinting at the sun until tears ran down their faces. They breathed the fresh air and listened to the silence which held them in a blessed sea of no sound. Now this is also a blessed sea of no sound. This is also a metaphor for silence. They looked at everything and savored everything. Now they enjoyed everything, savored everything. They enjoyed everything, like eating up, like we eat and we enjoy a delicacy. So just like that, their senses were savoring everything: the warmth of the sun, the glow of the sun, the beauty of the landscape, everything they were enjoying. Then wildly like animals escape from their caves. You seen some animals, if they're kept in captivity, if you leave them, then what they will do? They run like mad. So same thing happened with the children. After being in confinement for such a long time, 7 years, when they escaped from their caves, they behaved like wild animals, running here and there, shouting in circles. They ran for an hour and did not stop running. Now, this whole hour, they were running and running and running. And then it was time now, because the sunshine is only for 1 hour. In midst of running, one girl now wailed. Wailed means cried. Everyone stopped. The girl, standing in the open, held out her hand, and when she held out her hand, there was a drop of water in her palm. So when she looked in the water in her palm, there was a drop of water. That means the rain had started. So there were tears in her eyes now. The children gathered slowly to look at her palm. And what they saw? They saw that it was a drop of water. The sky had started pouring, and the girl began to cry looking at it. The children glanced quickly at the sky. A cold drops fell on their noses and cheeks and their mouths. It was time for them to rush back to their underground tunnels. The sun faded behind a cloud of mist. Cloud mist covered the sky soon, and a cool wind blew around them. It was time now for the rains to start. They turned and walked towards the underground houses. They were